Hello, welcome to Jadekun Gaming. My name is Adam, here with another unboxing of Dwarven Forge. This time it is the Shrine of Sysuul, which is the large set of their Forsaken Temple pieces. I'm sure once this sells out, they're probably not going to restock it, because it's a giant set, and those are hard for them to restock. But they will definitely be keeping in stock a bunch of the sets that contain all the pieces. And the Forsaken Temple is basically the snake temple. So for me, I got it, you want to have a temple for a Medusa, for Naga, for Yuan-Ti, whatever it may be. It's great for any of that. Because it's got a lot of snake themes, textures, and all that. And I have quite a few minis of all those, so I figure I wanted to pick this up and get a big old set of it. Of course, I get painted, because painting takes a lot of time. So, inside the big box, there are 6 smaller boxes, and we'll just begin going through them. So, box 1 here. So it has some smaller pieces, some not so. I think we're starting with a fancy one here. Just tape shut. There we go. So we take out this idol of Sysuul. Remove the little battery tag. And mini full scale here. Sure there is a switch, because I took out a... look at that flickering flame, and if you look at the eyes... The eyes are gems. I don't know if you've seen an old D&D book where maybe some gemmed eyeballs, and gems on the necklace, might entice a player to try and loot from the statue. Actually very pretty. Just all the little gems on there. Yeah. So, 3-headed snake idol. And let's see, it should be 2, 3, 4. Says there are 4 of this piece. So, put them aside. Of course, we got our anchor magnets. We have these little snakes in the floor, and this column that rises up that is itself made of snakes. Again, mini for scale. Perfect. I was thinking, how do we compare? So here we have 4 1x4s that are just normal dungeon paint. And so that is how well this will match your existing dungeon painted stuff. The sides are definitely a bit of a different look, because it doesn't have any of that redstone in it, it looks like. But otherwise, the paint basically is the same. Got a couple of the normal dungeon floors for LED pieces. I'm sure those will come up here shortly. A couple doors. Here, these are, of course, 1x2, and they go on top of just normal floors. So we got these snakes eating each other. One side, and this sort of pot or possibly crab with fire design on the other end. There's a little gem here. Maybe you press in the gem to open the door, or there's a handle here, so there's some things. And an ornate door frame as well, because obviously, like so much of their stuff, the door come out, this door can go in another door frame. You can put another door here if you just want an ornate door frame, but to put a wooden door in it from another set, you can do that. You got options. We have a pair of just wooden doors for the double door, which I'm sure we'll get to at some point. And in the same vein, we have a pair of the Forsaken Temple doors for the double door. So this one, each door has a larger crab or little minion-looking creature with fire above it on the side. No gem on the big one. And a more complex knotwork of snakes eating each other on this side. Another standard piece, because again, it works well with all your normal stuff. So just the plinth to either set something or that has metal embedded for you to be able to attach a magnet. Obviously not this magnetic piece, but you know, like a normal thing. Okay. This is deep black color. Does kind of go with maybe some of the black in the door and the gold accents. But we got an eye and some flame details, geometric shapes, a snake eating itself on the top, nothing on the bottom. Sort of an altar, and again, many for scale for that altar. We have a quartet of corner pillars to fill here, and you can kind of see that in this writhing mass of snakes, there is a face in there, kind of like a Medusa face in the corner. Here we have just normal door frame to which we input whatever set of doors we want in. Ta-da! Double doors. And if you've not seen this door frame elsewhere, you can also just pull out the entire mechanism that lets you put in the doors, and it will fit a city builder wall alternatively. So it's got options. And a magnet. We have 4 1x1 normal pieces just to fill in little spots in your build. And of course, the last thing in this first box is our trap door. So this, I don't know if I've ever seen working. Let's get these in. Actually, we'll show. The reason I couldn't get it in is because this one goes on this side. Because the peg on one side is smaller than the other, and the small one goes in over here, and then the ones that just sit on top are over here. We have little holes I can see right here and here for pull accessories. Got ornate details on the side. Ooh, and the back. Like, I think I've always seen it like up against something. Like, that has cool looking detail. That can be the front facing side if you wanted. I'm sure that those are so loose so that the trapdoor mechanism will work. But if you push it from the wrong side, it will just fall. Snake eating itself. And a little button here. Let those fall out. Oh. And while it doesn't quite match, because this probably wasn't given the same wash as this, if you flip them upside down, the bottom is painted gold, so it could just be a big gold top if you wanted. And works that way as well, especially if your finger isn't in the way of it. Yeah, a little finicky. But it works. Box 2 looks like it has a lot less variety in it. Should be some cool pieces. So first, grab these. Alright. 4 of these beefy walls. Oh wow, detail on there. So, mini for scale. And we have little fire imagery, this snake person, this writhing mass of snakes at the bottom. And this, you can kind of tell here, this one kind of goes out at an angle where this side is flat up and down, so you can go flat against this, but this side would not. On the back, there is sort of a wheel. It's like there's all little runes around the outside of this, and stonework work is well enough that you could have it sort of be in line as a section of wall that maybe you have to figure out a puzzle to get this section of wall to open or whatever, because it could definitely be a series of locks or whatever. There's a little figure in the middle. Otherwise, yeah. So there's 4 of those. And then in here, yep, 20 of these. So this is a big box of walls, but they are all the same. So magnet on the bottom, compared to normal paint scheme, works just fine. A couple overtwined snakes on the floor, kind of making up the pattern there. Little gems at the top, 3-headed cobra design. Pretty good amount of like recess into the actual like wall, like the depth there. And we got the scale pattern in the background. Some little snake heads up here. Top of the wall has a decorative piece on top of it that leads to this side's decoration, because of course you could also have it where this wall backs up and the next room has this design instead. Yeah, that's fire, and I guess now that I have this, I can point out the height of the pillar from the other box. Works to match the height of a wall. Box 3 contains a few things, including 10 of 1, the next segment of normal pieces, I guess. But everything else first, maybe. They certainly Tetris things in here. Well, there are 2 of these, and I found these. So let's grab these first. So notice what that is for. We grab the floor here. Turn it on. Just looking at the texture underneath the Cobra's hood. But otherwise we have a number of snakes around the outside here. Big one over top of the flames. And by putting it in here, you make it where that fire lights up and glows. Alright. There are 2 of these, and this is a piece that I have never actually held. Wow. Mini for scale. Wall for scale. Okay, so it looks like the height is such that if you put it on this floor and you have another on top, it goes to just about the right height. It is off by probably a millimeter. But yeah, so very tall column. And of course you don't have to actually have anything on. This could just be a great way to show that a room is very large is if the characters are standing next to columns that size, oh, this is a big room. There are 5 of this piece, and there are 2 of this piece, and these make our plinths that say go same height as our trap door to just have some steps. Of course you can make whatever design or whatever, but we got basically a corner and some straights of just able to kind of make up. And these are standard, nothing special in this theme for these stairs that I know of, but they help with doing little bits of elevation. It's changing the floor height. And the last 10 pieces in here are all this. So another box where a bulk of it is a single piece. And these are the Forsaken Temple corners, which every corner has that pull out. It's a little anchor magnet. And the back wall, we can just compare. So our walls are generally, there's variation in paint, but that is just how that can end up being at times. They're essentially the same idea behind the paint scheme, and it is similar. The geometry is slightly different, but very similar in idea of what that paint scheme is. On the inside, so you got a snake on the floor. We have this pit of fire. We get the same depth into these scale-backed sections of wall. Little gems up top here. you get these little bitty weird guys holding up this fire pit. There's like some sort of, look like little dinosaur lizard fellas. Yeah, so that is what your corners all look like. And since the one I showed wasn't a great color match, I pulled out another one, which is slightly better. Like, it's pretty good on that side, but by that side it's lacking. So yeah, definitely. And again, not all of these are going to be exactly this color. I mean, there's some variation in it, but they're not all quite this cool of color. We pull out box 4. You'll see there's another big grouping in here, but also fancy piece. So set fancy piece off. So okay, so I'll start with, there are 2 of these squares, which, recall, these are the same height. They match the red. They're just normal is it dais pieces. Again, getting that elevation, that raised floor, and changing it to that red color. So there's a couple of those. There are 4? 1, 2, 3, 4 of this floor. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4x4 floor. So anchor magnet in the middle, posts on the corners that will go with like the city builder posts if you want to use those to like elevate this. Otherwise, we have a lot more contrast in the snakes on this floor than the normal one, because they're painted, and it looks like the middle is painted red. Trying to help go with that, although a bit deeper. But yeah, so 4 of these floors that have these 4 snakes sort of intertwined amongst them in the floor design. And if I find, still goes well enough with just normal floors. Ooh, actually I also just noticed here, and on the sides of these ones, you have little snake designs on the side. The bulk of this box is the 27 normal 2x2 floors. So another big box with a lot of repeat pieces, because the idea is you can make an entire area. So anchor magnet sides on these also have the snakes. And then there are snakes on here that are not inked in, so they match more the normal walls and stuff. Because they're not blacked in there like the one was. But it's 2 snakes kind of intermixing there. And then the piece that I set off to the side, let's see here. So our dais height goes up to here, not, this piece goes a little taller. This is 1, 2, let me just check here. That's what it felt like. Okay, so it is 4 wide. Okay, I get it. But it is the length of one of these steps shorter than being 4 deep. So it looks like 1 extra step when you put it there. Now I get it. Okay. At first I was like, why does this seem short? So on the back, design, eyeball design here and up here. Got a little gem in here and in here. Pole accessory ports here. Design on there. Intertwining snakes up here. Very glossy and smooth looking inset pieces here. A pair of snakes with their tails twined together on the front. And this piece to accompany it, which big ring, eyeball up there, quite maniacal looking. So on this side, it looks like maybe the gems have maybe been pried out, like someone's been tampering with it. Or maybe it wasn't properly done, I don't know. But anyway, so this can go in here to make this a big showpiece, and then, of course, if you grab the idol from earlier, it will fit right on this circle. So that's kind of the idea, is to have a big altar piece here if you want, but obviously you can leave this off and have something else here. This can be where your person gives their speech to their minions. You can leave this off even if you want to. Yeah, there's different looks for it because it's in different pieces, so you have variety and options. You can get box 5. Okay. What do we have here? Yeah, so we have 3 of this floor, which is the super thin floor that could go underneath a trap pit, or have a trap door. It can fill at the bottom of a pit for there. But whatever. Regardless, the idea is it's a little floor that has actual snakes. So not like carved snakes, but the idea of a pit of snakes and like a bone, because like they eat people, I guess. And there is a little design here, so also if you just want to have it be a little raised platform that the snakes gather on in the middle of the room, you can have it be that too. There are 4 of these pole accessories. So, for example, there were pole accessory ports on the front of that, and so many other pieces in this set and others, but little gemmed piece, the metal pole on the bottom, so it can decorate that, or decorate that, or sure, many other pieces. There are also no, that is part of something else. Here's what I was looking for. We will get to those in a moment. There are also 4 of these sort of cobra heads that are quite massive. The weird design, eye in the back, with spikes, but they likewise in the same spots as the other can come in and decorate a spot. There was one of these little rooms that has the magnet in the back to, hold onto the walls and such. When there's metal in them, there are 3 of these cobras, which, you know, can be its own altar if you'd like. It's painted in such a way this can definitely be a real cobra, or you could make it be like a statue. Because it has the red and the gray, which are both, you know, obviously they're different colors, so it's not like just a single piece, but they're paints that are all used throughout the rest of the set. So, but it is a cobra that has a little crown on its head, and it is just sort of pushing out of a 1x2 space. So easily a large creature there. Giant cobra. Comparison too many. There are 4 these 1x1s that have walls, just normal dungeon pieces. And there are 3 here of this piece that I actually have to zoom out for. Been avoiding it for a bit. So, this is basically a 6 by 2, which is wall. So we compare the back to our normal wall. Just a more ornate version of the design here. It goes much taller. And there are 3 pole accessory points. And while on these out ones, I'm sure if you really wanted, you can put whatever there. The idea that they had is that you put your normal pole accessory in the middle. And earlier I grabbed these 6 pieces that are pole accessories with a weird angle on them. So they will not go on very many things, but they can go to decorate this. Maybe you have, again, this guy decorate in the middle of it. And if you don't want them on there, if that's too fancy, that's why they're pole accessories, so you can remove them and make it a little more simple, or more simple still by taking it out altogether. We got more of these weird snake eye looks here. Snake carvings in the floor. This plinth, which I believe is the size to house your cobra. Or maybe that altar from earlier. So many fire designs in here. You got these snakes on the front of this. But yeah, lots of intricate details, some little gems above those eyes. This just section of wall can be a big fancy piece, and there are 3 of these. And we got box 6, our final box here. Okay, what do we got in here? Yeah. So we have 5 just normal dungeon walls. So compared to fancy, these are just your normal non-Forsaken Temple dungeon walls, because again, when you're building stuff, it helps. And also, like, let's say you're wanting to build with this piece, but you want the back up against a wall. These walls don't work great for that because they're all 3D. So that's when you would use your normal walls so that they fit all the way back to it. So we have 4 of these, which are 2x1s of the same little dais, so whether heading onto here or, whatever it may be. More pieces for the dais set. And 2 of these. I actually don't know if I have any of these yet. Maybe 1. These are little think they call them stair jacks. So they are little sections if you need more stair going up to there, you can have that. However, another good point is, let's say you move, 4, 5, 6 spaces. Oh no, I'm here. It's not very balanced. And you have one of these. You just kind of put it on there as a point to give your mini a level place to stand when they're on the stairs. So particularly if you do like flight of stairs with these, which you can use multiple pieces from the set to do, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, but you stop in the middle of the stairs. You have a way just to give your mini a nice level spot to stand on the stairs. That's cool. And our final piece is big. And let's see here. So could be huge, gargantuan, depending on how you want to argue it there. But this very big beastie is this statue come to life. So, well, truly, this could be even like not a statue, but this could be like a creature you see as you enter the room, and then it gets up and becomes this. Alternatively, it could be a statue, and they try and pry loose a gem in the eye, and it comes to life and attacks, and then you have this. So, yeah. So 3 different heads, 3 different poses on each. Whichever one has its hood flared, one has its tongue out, and the other is baring its fangs. They do have the gems in all the eyes and across the front here. It's got a sword that's the size of a person. It's holding fire. It has legs, but it looks like it did have legs in here too, folded up underneath its tail, so yeah. Sysuul themselves. So that is a lot of pieces for the Forsaken Temple theme. Let's see if I can just put together an example build here. So I made a little bit of a build here, and there are certainly pieces left over that I didn't incorporate into it. But, just throwing in some ideas. And I did add one, I think it's a 6x6 terrain tray. Ideally, I would have added terrain trays under all of it so that the pieces didn't slide around, but I don't have any spares. They're all incorporated into a couple of current builds that I have for games. So, yeah. Anyways, to walk through the story of, I guess, what I've built, we have this sort of entry tunnel coming through here, and we got the sort of snake things that can shoot lasers or whatever, so you have to dodge around these couple, and then you're trying to get past this one that's shooting at you this way to get to the door. And I used one of the little corner fills. Yeah, so you get into this room, and of course in here we have our big monster combat, where this altar wakes up, and we got our snakes on each of the platforms, and you have to fight them or whatever before you can move past and go through this door. And in here, there's a locked door you have to figure out how to open. And have this multi-level area. The idea that you'd be going up stairs to this sort of diagonal staircase you get the feel of. The idea, obviously, it's just sitting on here, but it's, kind of creating the illusion that it's its own separate room, and using two of the back of these to make it look like some sort of weird combination lock system. And when they get it right and solve the puzzle, the doors open here, and come back down, avoid the snake pits, and get whatever they're searching for off of the altar. So there's that. A lot of it kind of straightforward. Working with what I have over here, I have those 4 pillar ones just as the support to hold up this tray. Furthermore, if we take these off, there's 2 walls in a corner here. I use the stair jacks to ascend to the actual floor level. I also have 2 of the stairs upside down to bridge the floor here so that you can set, so that it made it level and I could set floors on top of it. So that worked nicely there to be able to basically level out something if I wanted to use this as a corner. Because basically I had a corner, but there's only 2 corners and I needed a 3rd corner for what I wanted to do. And these floors that these were sitting on are just on top of more of the flat pieces. So, just to show, you can just kind of stack pieces in weird ways and make it work. And it works well. I've done that a number of times in Dwarven Forge builds where, sometimes you got these great pillars and they hold things at the right angle and the right height, and that's great. Other times you're like, I need an extra corner. This has a corner on it. How do I use it? I only want 1 corner. Maybe if I put this upside down, and then I just build on top of it. But again, this is a very fancy set. So with this, you can add maybe just 1 or 2 little pieces to a normal grouping of dungeon and make it feel like, one of these spots here that is this cobra wall. If you add this into a normal dungeon, this wall alone makes it feel like, ooh, maybe this is something special. Maybe this is the trap. This is the key, whatever. Or same with the fancy corner or, the big fancy wall. Any number of these Forsaken Temple pieces can go into a normal dungeon and it can be a special fancy piece in that. Alternatively, you can build it out like in here, and you just have a wall that is row after row of these cobras, and they're the normal thing, and they're not at all the... So, different ways to use it, you use a whole bunch of it when you get the set like this, and can just make rooms that are just all blinged out, and this is your, mega boss lair at the end when they're having to fight the giant, animated statue, or maybe it is the avatar of Sysuul, evil deity figure, whatever. Whichever it happens to be. So, depending on how you use it, it can either be something that can be itself fancy, or it can just be used like it's a normal everyday piece if you use a whole bunch of them. And getting in the set like this, I got a whole bunch of them to use. They do definitely slide around if you don't have a terrain tray. I always recommend those. Those are the greatest. But I will link to Dwarven Forge's website down below where you can pick up some Forsaken Temple pieces or so much else of the cool little dungeon mini stuff that they got. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff. Bye.